Hi, this is Caroline with Florida Breeze Realty. We're here with my friend Carlon Paul of Aquarian Home Renovations. And now that we've gone through the buying process, we're going to wrap up this limited series with a conversation about protecting your investment and maintaining your new home. Let's breeze right into the conversation. Let's just talk general maintenance. Now, most people will come in and they're like, okay, I've got to cut my grass. Yeah, that's one thing. But it goes into a lot more detail. So let's talk components of a house. From the exterior to the interior, what are the key things that us as owners can do to maintain certain things that will keep us going a lot longer without having to immediate repairs on the home?
Well, first you need to buy some tools. That's the first thing
But
when you
that's
get
why
a
we
home.
hire a handyman.
But you still need tools to do like basic things that you don't want to call a handyman to turn a pipe.
True.
So you need to have basic tools: hammer, screwdriver, uh, channel locks. Just to do basic maintenance in your house. You need a ladder if you want to clean your gutters. You can go up there and clean them, or just to get to hard to reach spots like lights and whatnot. If you need to change your light bulbs and stuff, you're going to need a ladder.
You say gutters. On gutters, is that something that should be regularly maintained? And if so, like how often should you go up and do a gutter cleaning?
Well, gutters, it depends on what you have around your house. If you have a bunch of trees,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to need to, depending on the time of year, you're going to need to clean your gutters because they will get filled up with trees. Sometimes there are products out there that you can put on top of the gutters that keeps the leaves from falling inside of it.
It's kind of like a screen, right?
Yeah, it's just like a screen. Only thing is that those two also gets depending on what kind of tree you have outside. If it's directly over your house, even those will get all clogged up and you still have to go and rinse off your gutters and stuff still. So a hose and a ladder, you can get up there and you can rinse it off without really being in danger of falling off the ladder and stuff like that, because you don't have to get a giant ladder that you got to climb on the roof. It's just
Unless you
so
got
that
like a 3-story house.
now, if you got a 3-story house, that then depends on how comfortable you are climbing a
Yeah.
big ladder to
I
get
am
up there.
not. I'm
So
not good with heights.
if you're if you're afraid of heights or you're not good, it's good to have a handyman. And usually, when you work with a realtor, they usually have a handy person that you can get their card and they can help you with your home when you have it. So
So those monthly gutter cleanings or annual gutter cleanings?
I would do monthly, depending on the time of year. It would be monthly. One time of year, it's like in the fall season, you're gonna have to clean them more than if it's in the summer season where all the trees are growing.
Okay. All right. And so the exterior, we're just working our way out from the outside in. So now we've covered, we got to keep the grass up, got to keep the trees trimmed so that they don't put leaves on your gutters. What is another possible issue with a tree touching like your roof area?
Mold,
Just the mold?
mold. I mean, the tree touching an area on the roof, you have mold. You have the water sits there. It doesn't dry as fast as possible, and that could cause damage on the stucco. It could cause damage on the wood. It depends. The paint. Yeah, it will rub away the roof tiles and possibly put a hole. Depends on how much pressure that tree is actually laying on the roof itself. So it can be with a whole lot of force on it, and it'll rub up against there with some nice wind, and they'll put a hole right through those shingles.
That's a way costly repair to do a
Yes.
roof patch or replacement.
Yeah.
That is going to be one of the things that do cost the most on exteriors when it comes to maintenance. Pressure washing the exterior of the building isn't going to cost you much. You can buy a pressure washer for a couple $100, and it's handy for all year. You can clean your driveway, keep it well maintained, looking nice. But as far as the roof repairs, on average, what's the cost look like for a roof repair or a roof replacement? Let's just go full replacement because that's got to happen every how many years should that happen?
Um, I'm not sure. It depends. Your roof is supposed to last a very, very long time.
About 10 years, maybe.
More than 10 years. Like 25, 30 years a roof can last. The only thing that's why roof repairs are so expensive, because the roof is supposed to last an extremely long time. It's the elements that's what destroys the roof, mainly sun and how it's installed. If you have a good roof install, and usually that thing will be on there forever, for the lifetime of the house. And
Keep it cleaned.
you maintain it. That's a big plus.
That's not something I see a lot of people do, is actually cleaning their roofs. It's a little different.
Or it's something that you forget about because you really don't look at it every day. Every day you look at the house and you don't even think about the roof. You look at the house and you think about the paint. You think about the accents. You think about the windows. You never really think about the roof until it starts leaking.
Yeah, and with a good pressure washing, you are keeping that paint fresh longer. But exterior paint jobs, again, a very costly, you know.
But you shouldn't pressure wash your roof.
No.
Though that's a no.
No.
Do not pressure wash your roof.
How do you clean a roof then?
Chlorine it and then rinse it off.
Okay.
Pressure wash your roof. You take the little grits of I forgot what it's called, but you take that off the roof itself, so that the pressure washer shoot that thing right off.
And then you're ruining your roof. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
right.
pressure wash the roof. Pressure wash the walls, guys, not the roof. And the driveway. Anywhere that's concrete or stucco, those are safe. Or your car. You can pressure wash your car.
Yeah, and you still got to be careful when you pressure wash the driveway, because depending on pressure wash, it could take up the concrete on the driveway.
True.
So that also is a big thing, because you'll have a 35 psi pressure washer, and you hit that concrete, and you're thinking that and then when you come back, you see a whole bunch of lines from where you pressure wash, because it actually blew the concrete off.
Is there a seal that you can use for the driveway to keep it from doing that over a long period of time? Or is there a seal for the concrete in general to help avoid a lot of mildew buildup?
There's a seal, but it's really not to avoid mold and buildup. It's just a seal just to make the driveway look nice.
Okay.
Concrete, they don't usually seal concrete like that. Not on the outside, because they want the concrete's porous, so you want it to absorb water. You don't want water to just sit on it. You want the water to go through it and then go to the bottom. So, yeah, you don't want to really seal concrete if it's outside your driveway and stuff like that, because everything will run right off of it. So you want it to be a little bit porous, so it sucks up some of the water.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So now we've got the exterior of the house cleaned and maintained. We're keeping that on up. We got the roof that we're keeping maintained. And most of those cost-wise, though, like we were saying, as far as exterior painting, on average, what does that look like as far as cost for exterior paint work?
It depends on the difficulty, really.
The height of the home, maybe?
The height, how much trim you have on your house, how much is going to get trimmed out. Windows, how many windows you have that you got to get cut in.
And so painters all consider how many windows they have to worry about covering, how many ledges they have to paint on, trim
how high it is, what tools and equipment they're going to need. Mm-hmm. If it has a whole lot of foliage around it, trees and plants and stuff like that also matters. So you can't, any painter that gives you a price over the phone, I don't know, have your antennas up in the air, because you're probably not going to get a good job.
Make sure they come out and give you a written estimate. Yeah, so
Correct.
They can see all of what it takes, because otherwise those surprises come right up on you.
Well, you'll have somebody come out to paint for you, and they'll come out and they'll start the job and get halfway through, and then they want to charge you more money.
Yeah.
And you end up not getting the rest of your job done, because you're like, oh, that's how much you said you was going to do. And they're like, oh, it's going to cost more. And then they're like, yeah, we need more money now. And you don't give them that money, they're not going to finish.
Yeah, and so that's one of those pitfalls for home ownerships that need to be aware of. Make sure that your contracts are clear when you're doing things for any sort of work. Make sure the contracts are clear. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask those questions. because there's a lot that goes into these things. So make sure that you know, is this going to completely cover the job 100% and get that final number written and signed off on. All right, so now the exterior is nice and maintained. That's going to look good forever. But then we start to get to the meat and bones of the home. So we've got air conditioning units. We've got, so they have like the HVAC system. What's the difference between just the unit and the HVAC system?
What do you mean the unit and the AC?
So most people don't know the components of an air conditioning, let's just say. So you have the inside, the outside, and then the whole system together is considered called an HVAC system.
So you got the air handler inside, and then you have the compressor that's outside.
Okay.
So the air handler is what houses the AC coils, and it houses the fan that blows the AC into the rest of the house. The compressor is what holds the freon and what pushes the freon through the lines and what actually cools the house.
So the freon goes to the coils. Coils get cool. The fan blows the cool air out to the house.
The fan blows the cool air over the coils and then it cools the house.
Out to the house. Okay. So in this system, people have different things that happen. They'll get hot air blowing. What's a possible issue with the hot air blowing?
Hot air blowing, it could be multiple things. It could be no freon. It could be your capacitor went out. It could be your compressor on the outside. The fan is not blowing and cooling it. It could be your circuit board on your capacitor that could go out. There's multiple things. This could be so many different things.
Yeah, you just need a certified AC tech to come out and check that out, because that's one of those items. Plumbing, electrical, and AC are all permit required items to repair. So just make sure you have a licensed technician come out to do those type of jobs when you do need that kind of work. But it's good to kind of have an idea in general. Like, most people get frustrated. Why is this AC tech coming out 3-4 times? Because it's not just a simple fix. Sometimes there's different things that go. I know I had, when I bought my property, I moved in, and it was one thing went. I think it was the transformer that blew out first. And then next it was the capacitor that blew out. And it was like, so it could be a different thing that happens in those things. But as far as general maintenance for an air conditioning to kind of keep issues from happening, what are maybe like one or two, three, maybe three things I would say that would be something that you would do on a regular basis?
Change your AC filter.
Mm-hmm. How often?
Once a month.
Once a month. New filter once a month.
New filter once a month. Change. Make sure that you put chlorine tabs in your AC line, your water drain line. It has a little connector on the top that you can turn and pull off, and you put your chlorine tabs in there, or you pour a little bit of chlorine in there. That'll keep the lines free.
Okay.
And the other thing is, on the outside, keeping that unit clear of any trash, any vines growing on it, any debris around it. Keep that all clean and clear of anything.
Like about maybe 2 feet away from the unit, it should be cleared out?
It should be cleared out. It shouldn't have any grass or anything growing around it.
And then what about coil cleaning? How often and what is that about?
Coil cleaning is if you actually run your AC without AC filter in there. That's when they end up having to clean the coils. But as long as you keep a filter in there, you shouldn't have to clean your coils that often.
Nah.
You can go years without having to clean your coils as long as you keep a filter in there at all times.
A fresh, clean filter, too, not just any old filter, because that builds up and the dust goes right into the coils. And the more dust that builds up in that coil, the dirtier it is, and the more likely it's going to freeze over. That's another term for the air conditioning handlers, is freezing over. And it really does. It turns into a block of ice. So thank you very much for coming in and giving your insight on everything, home renovations, and the ups and downs of what we might need to do as homeowners. If anybody needs any help with anything or wants to get some excellent floor installation and quarter round cut-ins, reach out to my friend here, Carlon, with Aquarian Home Renovations. He is my go-to, my knowledge on anything home renovations. So if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. Carlon Paul, Aquarian Home Renovations.